A Rough and Rugged Road by Libby Wilson. Richmond, Virginia, 1877. So that's when the story took place. Sweat trickled, that means dripped down. Dripped down young Maggie Lena Mitchell's face as she toted the heavy basket of laundry throughout the steamy morning. She could hear laughter from the children playing tag, and she wished she could play too. I see something in that paragraph about how Maggie is working instead of playing. I would highlight that if you have it. But Maggie didn't feel sorry for herself. She shifted the basket to the top of her head and stepped around a man sleeping on the sidewalk. At least she had a house to sleep in and usually something to eat. Think about what Maggie's doing and what the man's doing and highlight Maggie's hard work. Everywhere Maggie looked were black people who were worse off than she. When the American Civil War ended in 1865, newly freed black slaves streamed into the city looking for work, but jobs were scarce. Oh, that has a 1 by it. Let's come down here. Scarce, not enough. So there were not enough jobs, and many people lived and died in the city's streets. That night at prayer meeting, Maggie would pray for the less fortunate, for those people who were less lucky than she was. Her bare feet picked up their pace, lest her chores make her late for church. Learning a sense of pride. The first time Maggie had entered the First African Baptist Church, she'd been filled with reverence and awe. Prayer became as bread to hunger and water to thirst. Sunday school and prayer meeting set my foot upon solid rock, Maggie said as an adult. Maggie's church taught her pride in her race, despite the fact that most white people in the South treated blacks as inferior, that means less than. Her church's 3,000-member congregation included a large number of black professionals. That means politicians, business owners, doctors, and skilled craftsmen, many of whom had been free before the Civil War. They were a competent, successful, and proud group. Think about the people Maggie is hanging around with and the type of hard work they might be doing. See if you could highlight something in there. Maggie's school also taught her racial pride. Although black children did not attend the better equipped schools, equipped means having equipment, so the schools did not have nice things with white children. Maggie was fortunate. Oh, that means lucky. Maggie was lucky to have an exceptional teacher. Oh, exceptional means unusually good. Maggie was lucky to have an unusually good teacher. Miss Lizzie Knowles was one of thousands of Northern professional educators who came south after the Civil War to give the newly freed blacks the schooling that slavery had denied them. Miss Lizzie taught her students that they could make history just like the famous people they studied. Intelligent and hardworking, Maggie graduated from normal school, a 2-year program after high school. Think about the hard work that you could highlight in that paragraph. Learning to help others. After graduation, Maggie put her energies into a fraternal, that means members of the same interest. So she's just joining a group. Maggie put her energies into a group, the Independent Order of St. Luke, which she had joined when she was 14. Members of the IOSL helped one another in times of sickness and were present at each member's burial. The organization also worked to lift blacks out of poverty by teaching members to work hard, to save pennies, to improve themselves, and to stick together against prejudice. Prejudice means judging before knowing. Put a box around pre. Pre means before. Pre-judge. J-U-D, like judge. At this time, blacks in the South did not have the same rights as whites. Don't forget to highlight in that paragraph where Maggie works hard. Finding her life's work. In 1899, Maggie was the first woman to be elected right-worthy Grand Secretary of the IOSL. The organization was on the verge of bankruptcy, meaning they have no more money. So Maggie held rally after rally and was such an inspirational speaker that thousands of people would often attend. Sometimes 1,000 people would join at one time. "It's in me to build this order and teach my people the power of unity," Maggie said. Because of her work over the years, the Treasury increased from $31.61 to $3,000 $3,480,540.19, largely because of initiation fees and monthly dues. Membership rose from 1,080 people to 100,000 people. Maggie also helped the Black community to establish a sanitarium. That looks like sanitation or sanitize, like what I use when I put hand sanitizer on my hands. So that's a place where someone can receive treatment, so where they can get better, where they can stop sickness. To establish a place that stops sickness for tuberculosis, that's an infectious disease of the lungs. So people who are sick with their lungs. Patients and home for delinquent girls. Delinquent means committing crimes. For girls who commit crimes. She was the major force behind the funding of a community center, an educational loan fund, and many other humanitarian projects. Maggie's most famous achievement was becoming America's first woman founder and president of a chartered bank when she opened the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank in 1903. Highlight in finding her life's work, all of the hard work that Maggie did in those 2 paragraphs. Never letting up. Although Maggie accomplished so much and met with great success, her life wasn't easy. I started from a most lowly place in life, so she wasn't rich, from an alley rather than a street. I started with my arms filled with laundered clothes rather than armfuls of trinkets and toys, with feet that had been well acquainted. Acquainted means familiar with, that you know it. That well knew the rough and rugged road of life. I had worked all day and away into the night. And whatever has come to me in these days has come because I worked from a child, worked before I married, worked after I married, and I am working harder now than ever in my life. Go ahead and highlight where you see Maggie working hard. Maggie never let up, not even when she became partially paralyzed in 1928. She had an elevator installed in her home and her car remodeled to accommodate her wheelchair. Maggie continued to work until her death in 1934. I see in that paragraph that Maggie's working really hard, even though she got paralyzed. I would highlight some of that. She received many honors for her efforts, but acclaim was not what motivated Maggie Lena Mitchell Walker. I have never taken one step with a design to raise myself up or to gain applause. What I have done has been done with an eye single to the glory of God and to promote the good of our race. So highlight how Maggie worked and why she did it.